Hey guys, I'm back for another one of these. I actually just was taking a bath and I had what's a good word? Interesting experience happen. It kind of made me think about a lot of things and kind of connect some things together. And I was like, oh, this would be a good message to share. So I was in the bath and, well, let me rewind a little bit, a little history about me. Um, I deal with a lot of anxiety, like all of us, I'm sure, or a lot of us at least, but I deal with a lot of anxiety. And a couple years ago, when I had that transformational traumatic event, the fainting event that I talk about, ever since that time, I started seeing something manifest that is called Raynaud's syndrome. And what that is I guess it's your blood vessels fire inefficiently or something. And when you're stressed or when you're really cold, the tips of your toes and your fingers and your hands and your feet can get like just icy white to the point where there's no circulation and you become like freezing. And I realize that happens a lot when I'm stressed. And I also get very cold easily. And when I get cold, if I don't warm up quickly, I will stay cold for a long period of time. And it's almost crippling. I mean it is crippling because I'm just freezing. I mean, I can be standing in the sun when I'm like this and I won't warm up. My body kind of goes into a certain mode where it just cannot warm up. And I think it's related to stress and anxiety. And I've done some research on this. And I mean, from what I can find out there, it seems to be related to that. But anyway, I used to heavily rely on baths when I would get really cold. I'd get really cold. I would not be able to warm up. I would just put on a piping hot bath and sit in it. I mean, miserably cold for like at least 10 to 15 minutes until finally my body found a way to somehow regulate itself. But as I did this more and more, I found that the extreme temperature fluctuations going from like the really cold to the really warm would relax me, which obviously is the result that I would want, but it would relax me very quickly. And I would feel that head change. Similar thing kind of happens in the opposite effect when you actually get out of a warm bath and you cool down. That temperature drop actually relaxes you as well, and that's why they say to take a warm bath before you go to sleep. Helps you sleep. But anyway, because I micromanage myself so much and so closely, any sort of head change or change in my body that I feel, I get very paranoid and anxious about. And so I've kind of backed off from baths for that reason and just kind of been focusing on trying to mentally sit with myself when I'm cold. And and sometimes it's really silly. Sometimes I realize like I'm cold because it's winter and I'm wearing shorts and like no socks and a really light shirt. And I'm like, okay, maybe Ashley, you should put on some freaking socks and a sweatshirt and that would fix the problem. But anyway, I've kind of been getting back into baths lately, and I was just sitting in one and actually just took one because I was cold. And I was sitting in the bath, I was warming up, I was cold for probably about 5 to 7 minutes, and then I started to feel the head change, the relaxation, kind of the mellowing out. It's a very abstract feeling, but when I feel cold, my body feels tense and I feel anxious and I feel like a tight feeling. And then as I relax, you kind of open up, your mind calms, you feel more like a blank space in your head. So I was getting this in the bath as I was warming up. And then I found myself resisting that change. And then what was happening was my mind started to race. I started thinking, oh my gosh, like just all the worst case stuff. Like, I haven't eaten yet today. What if I need to eat and I'm like, going to get dizzy and I'm going to faint again? Or what if I haven't hydrated properly? Or what if I shouldn't be taking these warm baths and, changing my temperature so rapidly? Like, what if that's not good for my body? And my mind just started going fast. And I started becoming paranoid. My fight or flight kicked in. My mind was just racing. And then what was interesting that I noticed this time that I have never really noticed before is as soon as my mind started going really quick, my body started to follow. And then, because I was like once a week or so, I like to do like a full body groom, if you will. Like I shave and I do my eyebrows and my nails and all that stuff. So today was that day. So I was shaving and I found myself like trying to rush through quickly to shave. And I just found myself trying to like run out of the bathtub. It was like, do what you need to do. You're in a crisis. Get out of here. There's a problem. You need to run. So it started with my mind. And then my body started to follow my mind. And I realized my body then following and running was reinforcing my mind. And then my mind started going even faster. And because my mind almost believed my body. And then my body believed my mind. And then my mind believed my body. I mean, they say the mind and the body, work hand in hand. And I really felt that real time in the bath. And so I was feeling this happening, and it made me think of another time that I dealt with this, but it never really sunk like it did today, but then it kind of came full circle, and I want to tell you guys that story and then come back to the bath at the end. So I was in Colorado. This was maybe about a month or month and a half ago, and I was there for a sales conference, and what I did was I challenged myself to, I like to go on trips, like 2 to 3 day work trips, because I will go to Whole Foods and I get a certain amount of food. I plan it out for the 2 to 3 days. I get a certain amount of food and then I stick to it. And there's no more going back to the store. There's no overindulgences. And it's a little challenge for me. It's almost like a survival thing. It's like, I picked this food, I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to eat this food. And if it's not enough, I mean, which it usually is, but it's like I have to kind of go through those mental struggles, those mental barriers, of wanting more and wanting more food and feeling like the food, I need the food to feel good with myself mentally or whatever. So I do that when I go traveling. So this trip in particular, I did that. And then we were going to a conference that was about 45 minutes away, and I only brought with me for like a 8-hour day, I brought a salmon and I brought some coconut oil. And I think I brought a plum, salmon, and some coconut oil. And I only brought that with me. And I ate that throughout the day. And I felt fine. But on the way home, I was in the car with like 7 or 8 of our sales reps. And we were driving back to the hotel. And one of the sales reps in particular, he's like super on my wavelength or with food and understanding all the stuff that I talk about with mindfulness and awareness and overindulging and not trusting yourself and just kind of that whole spirituality, metaphysical backing behind food. So in the car, it was about a 45-minute drive back, and I felt myself feeling very empty, and I wasn't used to my stomach feeling that empty because I'm so used to just eating whenever I want to. If I feel that emptiness, I just eat. I just act on that impulse. And so I was feeling this emptiness, and I felt my mind start racing with the same kind of thoughts. What if I didn't eat enough? Oh my gosh, I'm stuck in the backseat of this car for 45 minutes. What if I faint? What if I throw up? What if I feel dizzy? What if I can't escape? All these what ifs, crazy thoughts. And I felt that happening, and then I felt my body start to want to react to those thoughts and run and get out of the car and jump out of my skin and not be able to just hang with myself for these 45 minutes. It really started to become like an unbearable feeling. And so I was talking to this guy there about it, and he was like, it's because you don't trust yourself to care for yourself. The actions that you chose and the decisions that you made today, for your food, you don't believe that you second guess them. You believe that you may not have made the right decision, or maybe you didn't bring enough food. You basically don't trust yourself to care for yourself. And that's why you're running, because you're running to more food or to more stability or something that was different than your original plan for yourself, because you don't trust it. And I was like, wow, you are so right. Like in that moment, I was sitting there thinking, I don't trust myself. I really don't trust myself to care for myself. And that's why it's like I try these, things like bringing a certain amount of food. And then it's like, as soon as I feel a little tinge of discomfort, it's like, I was, I was wrong. I fucked up. I need to go fix this. I was wrong. And it's this really weird force that takes over. And he basically told me, he said, what you're feeling right now is just a different feeling in your stomach. That's all it is. It's not chaotic. It's not anything to be concerned or serious about. Look at it for what it is. Observe it. Just pay attention to it and see it for what it is in a neutral sense. It's just something different than you're used to. And the thing with that is that things that we're not used to are foreign, and then our bodies and minds usually deem them as bad or scary or wrong, which is why we overanalyze them and can, spiral ourselves into panic. And so he said, your mind is going fast right now. Your body is going fast. So what you can do to reverse the whole cycle is to slow your body down. You slow your body down, you slow your actions down, and then your mind ends up slowing down. It's like everything is connected. They both go together. Like I was just telling you in the bath, one of them speeds up, the other one speeds up. That one speeds up, and then it causes the other one to believe the other one, and you just keep going and going and going and going in this horrible cycle that you basically just want to jump out of your own skin because you can't escape. And so what I did was, as soon as he told me all that, I felt a lot better in the moment, but I still kind of felt the discomfort in my body, in my stomach from not having enough food that day, or so I thought. But then what I did was, we got back to the hotel, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to consciously slow myself down, even if I have to keep doing it every 3 seconds, because my body's going to want to speed up because it's just in that state right now. But I'm like, I'm going to slow myself down. So I got out of the car, was walking to my hotel, found myself trying to speed up and walk there because I just wanted to get there and eat more food. But I just kept using every time that I would speed up as a cue to slow down. And I would speed up a little bit, kind of subconsciously, slow myself down. Okay, Ashley, it's okay. You're going to make it. Trust yourself. You got this. Then I would kind of speed up again, kind of unbeknownst to me, and then I'd slow back down. And it was like this dance that I was doing with myself, learning how to trust in that moment. And then when I got there, got to the hotel, I'm like, I'm going to slowly cook my food. I'm going to cook slowly, not going to move fast. And it was, again, me feeling myself speed up, slowing down, speed up, slowing down. I made my food. I put it in a bowl. And see, typically what I would be doing is, one, I would be eating whatever I could that I didn't have to cook, and I'd be just shoveling in my mouth as soon as I get in the door. See, me before, I kid you not, physically run into places. Like in this scenario, I would be running full speed into my hotel and then like shoveling food into my mouth as soon as I got in, like drop my stuff. And that's how much I was scared that something would happen to me, that I didn't properly care for myself or whatnot. And so I made my food. I put it in a bowl. I let the bowl sit there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a shower because this food will taste so much better when I'm clean and relaxed and comfortable in my cozy sweats. So I took a shower, still delaying that rushing feeling. I wanted to eat that food so badly because parts of my mind were still really scared. But it was trusting myself and allowing myself to extend the time, and then to sacrifice that immediate gratification that, that just whispers and tugs at you, that you just want to fulfill it. I was just delaying it. And then I took a shower, and it's like, as I was delaying the eating, something that I was running towards in panic, I was getting more and more relaxed, and my body was naturally slowing down, and then my mind was naturally slowing down too. And then when I got out of the shower, I looked around and I was like, you know what? I'm going to clean my whole area so I can sit down cozy with a nice meal in a clean space. So I cleaned up my hotel, it wasn't that much, obviously, because I was traveling. It's not like it's my house, but I cleaned up everything. And then I sat down, put my bowl in front of me with my food. It was a spinach salad with sweet potato, avocado, and some siete chips. And I put it in front of me, and I'm like, you know what? I made it. I'm here, and I feel great. And I'm going to delay this even a little bit further. I'm just going to sit here, stare at my food, and have a moment of gratitude and mindfulness with my food, and just be thankful that I trusted myself. And so I sat there for, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 seconds, looked at my food, felt thankful for my food, and then I ate slowly, mindfully, chewed every bite maybe 10, 15 times. I'm working on chewing my food more because I'm like a avid 3 chew and swallow kind of girl. Just like love food, right? So yeah, and it was that process of consciously slowing my body down, even though I was totally resisting it, that eventually slowed my mind down. And I will say that it took a lot of slowing down. I mean, my body did not want to slow down. It was panicking and trying to run and trying to go fast. But it was my goal and my priority in that experience to slow myself down and to fight for the peace, just to fight for the relaxation, or to fight for just feeling neutral and balanced again, and not allowing myself to just get revved up. And so I did that, and it was a beautiful, amazing experience. And then in the bathtub just now, circling back, I found myself, like I said, my mind racing, and then my body racing to quickly just get out of there. And again, I use that as a cue to slow the hell down, to slow my body down, to slow my actions down, to slow the strokes when I shave down, to wash my hair and try to feel my fingertips and my hair on my scalp instead of just half-assing and mindlessly doing it. When I got out, it was like wiping myself down with a towel slowly, brushing my hair slowly, just doing all of these things slowly, even though your body doesn't want to fucking do it at all. I mean, at all. It's not easy. It's hard. But the more you can practice it, or the more you choose to practice it, it's like a muscle, and it just keeps, I don't want to say getting easier, because you're still going to be faced with that resistance, but the more that I do it, the more that I believe that I can do it, because I see the results from it. And then the more that it's like anything in life, right? The more you see the results from your actions, the more you believe that the results will happen next time. And so when next time happens, it almost happens quicker, because you have that sense of positive belief coming with the action, as opposed to just kind of shooting in the dark, like, oh, I'll just try this time. But I gotta say, to get results, you gotta keep fighting. Like that first experience in the hotel with the food, it was like I probably had to slow myself down like at least 40 or 50 plus times. And I mean, fight the resistance, fight the pull to just run and shovel food in my mouth. And that is hard. It's hard work. So yeah, I felt like that was really important for people to know, because I talked to people about this feeling of like rushing through and needing to get everything done, and you feel like you don't have enough time, and so you're rushing and you're almost blind and mindless, and you're just going, and then the faster you go and then the more you keep thinking, like, you just get farther and farther away from yourself when you're like that. And it almost becomes a weird, what do I want to say? Like a cycle that just keeps eating itself. And then you start going faster, your mind starts going faster, your body starts going faster. And even though you have the thoughts in your head, like, hey, maybe I should slow down. Because when I'm like that, I'll get the thoughts like, I should probably slow down right now. Like, I'm not here with myself or with what I'm doing. But then when I don't listen to those voices to slow down, it never ends up well. I will say this across the board, like just statistically speaking with my own life, it just never ends up well when I don't slow myself down. Usually I just crash at the end of the day. Sometimes I've ended up in a panic attack. Sometimes I've just, I mean, I don't know. I guess those two are probably the only things that happen, a panic attack or crashing, at least that can come to my mind right now. But it just doesn't end up well. Moving fast does not feel good. Of course, there are times and place for it. There are certain times where you need to get things done quickly. But I also believe that you can get things done quickly and mindfully. I don't think you need to sacrifice mindfulness to get things done quickly. It's that space or where you lose yourself that is the space that I'm talking about that I don't think is ideal, that people don't want to be in. It's mindless. And typically what I found, it's a result of being in fight or flight, because you're scared or panicked or worried of some sort. And if any of you listened to my binge eating episode, I have a hunch that the tyrant force is at play. Something inside of you is controlling you and wanting you to go fast because it doesn't trust something, or it doesn't believe something, or it feels like it's going to get in trouble, or something bad is going to happen if you don't go fast, or if you don't run. So that is my spiel for today. And it's funny because I always I kind of run to do these episodes in a way, because I have all these thoughts that come up and I'm like, I don't want to lose them. I want to hold on to them, and I want to be able to share them, and I'm excited. So I kind of go back and forth between running to do an episode like I just did now, and it was completely unthought out, unplanned, and just basically a mind vomit. But I think other times it's beneficial to kind of write down my thoughts, because there are probably so many more things that I could bring into these episodes and connect to other parts of my life, or other themes, or other, things I've read in books, or from famous philosophers or psychologists or whatever. I'm sure I could, if I sat down and actually thought through these things, I could probably make this so much better of an episode. I don't want to discount myself by saying that, but I'm playing around with that. I get all these ideas, and I just become so eager to share them that I'm just I just need to spit it out. So that's what I did here. But maybe some episodes will be like this, and others will be written out and thought out. I already have a bunch planned, and I've been writing out some ideas and some structures for some ideas that I want to talk about in future episodes. And so I'm excited. This is actually a really cool format. I'm really stoked about doing it this way. And not to say that I won't bring guests back on my podcast in the future, but this is a really good format for me right now, and I'm really enjoying it. So I gotten, like I said, some good feedback on it, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. And like I said in other episodes, definitely reach out if you have any ideas, or things that you would love to hear about, or for me to talk about. Like I said, these things just kind of come up from my mind randomly and spontaneously, but I also love getting requests, because then I have something to think about from someone else's mind, not my own, and it kind of gives me a different spin to my thought process. So that's cool too. All right, I think that's it for me, and I will, I guess you'll hear from me next time.